Today for the feminist Wikistorming, I'm going to share my screen and begin my presentation on contra-feminism, valuing Black women's wisdom. Can everyone hear me on Zoom?
How you doing on Zoom? Well, I think they should.
Okay. So,
Yes, thumbs up there.
oh, awesome. Thank you. So I'm Glynnis Conway. I'm a fourth-year PhD candidate in art education and women's gender and sexuality studies. This image on the first slide is one of my artworks called Untitled from the Geechee Girl series, 1997. My dissertation project involves looking back at over 30 years of my art making career since being an undergraduate, and also comparing to some works created before trauma. So contra-feminism is the theoretical lens I'm using for my dissertation research, in addition to sacred embodiment and sacred subjectivity, which is ideas put forward by Jackie Alexander. So I'm going to start with this first slide, and I feel like I should put my timer on to make sure I'm not going over. So I'll just put 9 minutes on. But so contra-feminism is a new genre of Black feminist theory developed by scholars Kenitra Brooks, Camila Martin, and Lakeisha Simmons. It emphasizes African indigenous epistemologies of Black women and values the lived experience of Black women and the wisdom that comes from that experience. It also draws from Black feminist theories and Africana religious studies. And there are 4 key tenets of the contra-feminism theory, which I'm going to discuss next. So the 4 tenets of contra-feminism developed by Brooks, Martin, and Simmons are: 1, there are consequences for your actions. 2, death is not an ending, but a transition. 3, one is beholden to the ancestors as well as to future generations. And 4, spirit work is necessary for our physical, emotional, and psychological health. So I have an excerpt from the contra-feminism article called Contra-Feminism Toward a Genealogy, which was the sort of initial article putting forth contra-feminism as a coherent idea, although some of the authors had published on contra-feminist ideas previously. But I'll read this segment from Conjuring and Black Feminist Thought section. Contra-feminism has a long genealogy in Black feminist thought. As long as Black women have been a part of the academy, so too has there been work on conjure. Marjorie Price and Hortense Spiller saw Black women's folk magic as art and fiction as a form of conjuring in their book, Conjuring Black Women Fiction and Literary Tradition. Conjuring marks an important moment in Black feminist literary criticism. Price and Spillers give us permission to link Black women's storytelling to the intangible, to other ways of knowing that Black women have inherited from their mothers, other mothers, and foremothers before them. They acknowledge how Black women's writing challenged the authenticity and accuracy of American history that failed to record their voices in a literary history that, written by Black men and as well as white, has compounded that neglect. So I think a really important part of this paragraph, excuse me, is talking about this idea of Black women's storytelling relating to the intangible. And there's been quite a bit of relation of contra-feminism or even kind of Africana religious traditions to literature, to Black women's literature. But I think an emerging field to explore this more would be looking at visual art as well. And that's what I intend to do with my dissertation. Dr. Martin, and this is from Dr. Camila Martin's website, one of the contra-feminist scholars. Dr. Martin's research explores the lore cycle of the conjure woman or Black priestess as an archetype in literature and visual texts. In 2013, Palgrave Macmillan published her first monograph, Conjuring Moments in African American Literature, Women, Spirit Work, and Others Such Hoodoo, which engages how African American authors have shifted, recycled, and reinvented the conjure woman figure, primarily in 20th century fiction. Dr. Martin is also the author of Envisioning Black Feminist Voodoo Aesthetics, African Spirituality in American Cinema, which explores the treatments of the priestess figure in American cinema. And another author on conjure feminism from that genealogy article is Kenitra Brooks. And here's some in an interview excerpts from when she was doing a fellowship at Harvard. So she said in this interview, I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana, a very Southern and very Caribbean city. Living in New Orleans is like living in a place of intersection, a place that I like to call magic, where the dead are present and living among us. I grew up in a family culture where it was natural to talk with the dead and where the woman could do things. We also held very Christian beliefs with deep ties to our missionary Baptist church and Africanized Christianity, whose practice is different from a Southern Baptist in that it's the Baptist church of the civil rights movement, justice-based with an autonomy that allowed Black folks the space to be leaders. And I'm going to jump to the last section of this excerpt. It says, my great grandmother was a conjure woman and a Christian child of God. She was a botanist and a root worker who practiced medicine. She was also a hairdresser and the matriarch of our family. Many conjure women held other positions such as midwives and spiritual leaders. Gradually, they were pushed out of these roles by the rising white male patriarchal medical establishment of OBGYNs and pushed out of the classic Black church by the male preachers. So you can see how Africana religious traditions merge with Christian traditions as well for many Southern Black folks practicing hoodoo or other practices of Africana derived traditions. And this is Lakeisha Michelle Simmons, who is another one of those authors from the Conjure Feminism genealogy article. She's a historian of African American gender history, specializing in Black girlhood, history of the family, history of sexuality, and Southern history in the 19th and 20th centuries. And I'm going to keep moving forward because I'm low on time. Some conjure feminist publications. So I have here two of Camilla Martin's publications, The Lemonade Reader by Martin and Brooks, edited by Martin and Brooks, and the issue of Hypatia, which the Conjure Feminism, a genealogy article was first published. And so here's some information about the Lemonade Reader that can be helpful for anyone adding to the Lemonade page, which is the album and video album produced by Beyonce in 2016. And Lemonade as a work of art, as a work of film and music, drew from ethnomusicologists, religious practitioners, literary scholars, historians, philosophers, and religious studies scholars to create this world that Beyonce depicted in Lemonade. And so, like I said, there's more information on that slide. And I'd like to share an epitaph from Kenitra Brooks' article, Myrtle's Medicine, which is published on emergencemagazine.org. Conjure studies are capable of linking magical and supernatural elements on the one hand with medicinal practices and natural processes on the other. So kind of remembering that material aspect of the magic or the wisdom coming from Black women. And this is a excerpt from Kenitra Brooks' Myrtle's Medicine writing that's published on Emergence Magazine. And folks can return to that in the attachment that's stored for this. And I shared a bit about hoodoo, as hoodoo is relevant, as are other forms of African spirituality, are important to the theorizing of conjure feminism, highlighting such religious practices that evolved in the New World, such as Obeah, Vodou, Lukumi, espiritismo, conjure and hoodoo, candomblé, voodoo, and others, which is based in the communication with supernatural entities. And I do want to state that there are some limitations of the conjure feminism theory in terms of how there's a bit of cis-centric feminism that really kind of puts a lot of weight on the importance of the Black woman's body as kind of like essentially a woman's body. And I think that this theory can apply um, to trans or femme identities as well as cisgender women. So I intend to expand upon that in my work. And my last slide, I intend to challenge the ciscentric feminism of the contra feminist theory by integrating more diverse ideas on gender and queer sexualities and spirituality from M. Jackie Alexander and Omisheke Natasha Tinsley in my dissertation study. Some references, and thank you.